Welcome back to the channel, Indigo Angel. Come on into this dimension and come on in for a really special, heartfelt, heartwarming announcement and message that we have to give you, all of you that have been following what is going on with the ostrich story at this time. So, we've just actually gotten wind that there's been a victory for the light in this story. But if you're just tuning in with us for the first time tonight and maybe haven't heard about what's going on with the ostriches, we would like to fill y'all in with this story because it's absolutely crazy and diabolical what they have been trying to do to these poor ostriches in this ostrich farm, essentially. And, we have just really been following this story for a while. I have all of my beautiful Kanata star seeds in the house with me tonight, plus Missy Hill. And, you know, we've been hearing this story for a while and it's finally come to a head. There's finally been a boiling point or like a breaking point in this story. So it's just absolutely crazy, but I'm so excited that you guys are here to share all this information with me and everyone watching tonight, all of our viewers. And just let us know because you guys are boots on the ground where this is going on. So your intel is like definitely appreciated. And I just want to say hello to everyone tuning in with us tonight. Be sure to check on in the chat and put a big like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notifications bell. Communicate with us down in the chat because we love to have a conversation with you. And if you guys have any questions, because um, yeah, our Kanata Star Seeds tonight, I mean, they are literally on location where all of this is going on. So if you guys have any questions about this ostrich story, drop it down in the chat. You do have to be subscribed to the channel for at least 60 seconds to get into the chat. But yeah, we love to connect with you guys. And maybe let's actually just do a quick introduction really quickly. Like, just say where you are in Canada and maybe how long you've been kind of involved with what's going on with this. I know, Raquel, you've been talking about it, I think, for the last couple months, maybe. So maybe, yeah, start with you, Raquel, and just kind of, let us know where you like kind of first picked up on this and then, where you're located and how you're involved right now with it.
Well, I first heard about it through Shakina Ma and Shakina Grace, and I decided to support them and share it on my channel and just talk about it. And from there, it's just been, getting updates and just following along with the story and what's happening and developing, and then weaving it into our own events and, tuning in galactically, so to speak, and what's happening, and we've just discovered all of these sort of synchronicities that have come our way as we move through this process. So, but yeah, I just want to give credit to Shakina Grace and Shakina Ma for bringing this story forward. I'm not actually
Yeah.
located close by. I'm about 8 hours from where all of this is happening. But I feel really, really close to what's happening because I'm just so connected to these two folks that are closer to what's truly happening on the ground. So I'll hand the baton over to them, and they can perhaps fill you in as well.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm
I'll take
Shakina.
it up.
Oh, sorry.
Um,
You go ahead.
we basically finished your training, Indigo Angel, and basically I had connected with Raquel and also Shakina Grace, and my friends were all at the ostrich farm, so they asked me to actually do a grid working session on the ostrich farm, which is how I scored this beautiful plume, which is an ostrich
Ooh.
plume, and also this amazing, very beautiful ostrich egg, which has a little plant that was planted in there, which I call Nova Gaia, the new earth. And we connected the three of us in our little trinity that we are working with. And we all just poured in so much love and light into the actual area of Edgewood, where the Universal Ostrich Farm is. So we all kind of started checking in. We like deep dived the original name of it, which is Killarney, which is the Church of Sloes, which then came into this whole revelation of what sloes is, which is the black thorn, which then got into this whole history of like this Irish black magic spellcraft. And so we were just like hitting down this whole like internment camp with all these World War II survivor Nazis. And then they had like all these Hungarians and Ukrainians and Russians, all these slaves essentially that they used and tortured at this internment camp in Edgewood.
And
And
this is all
so,
energetically connected to what's going on with the
well, this
ostriches.
is the land where the ostriches live at the Universal Ostrich Farm, which is like just a little hop, skip, and jump from the main location of this internment camp. And then also just the Sinaiks and various different indigenous that had lived and occupied this land had all been basically chased out and killed. And then the Sinaiks, which are the traditional people of this land, were called extinct. So there's like quite a deep dive. All of this was to create the Columbia Basin Dam. So it's a large dam network that comes down the Columbia River and the Kootenai River. And basically it's powering up the states. So a lot of the various states south of our border basically, you know, are benefiting from this power generated from our river. And they had to chase out all the people. They flooded all the Doukhobors. Doukhobors are Russian freedom fighters that moved here back 1900s. And so like late 1800, 1900s. So this whole area is like this massive hot zone. Also, as you know, I had shared, you also know of that beautiful Colonel James Churchward, who has the lost children of Mu, the lost continent of Mu, you know, the lost civilization of Mu, Lemuria. And they have in the map of his, one of his location points that the people that left Mu came right here to the Kootenai. So this land is like very charged. We have lots of crystals, gold, silver, gems, uranium. There's a huge uranium mine. It's just a hot spot portal zone.
So it
And
seems to
so
be like really paralleling what's going on with the overall planetary ascension, with what's going on with
because yes, I took your
because of
course to like be able to clear the land here as just like this Lemurian Stargate that I believe is existing here. And
yeah.
then
And
jumped
honestly, the
into the
ostriches look
ostrich
like
thing right
Lemurian
away.
birds. I think they're Lemurian birds. Ostriches go back to Lemuria.
They're prehistoric. They're like millions of years old and they've survived millions of years, even past the dinosaurs. And now, because of some stupid little virus that like
Okay.
120 years
Well,
later,
let's just like explain the story real quick. Kind of explain what happened because honestly, I don't know how many people actually know about this story. I mean, when I was looking at the owner of the ostrich farm, I think she only had like 1.5K views on her page video. And I mean, so I'm wondering how
she's
much.
like a research lab. So she has these ostriches doing research because the ostrich egg, like the yolk of the egg, is like gold. It is so valuable in how many different things it can actually cure. So when they have bird flu, and then the ducks came in on this giant acreage of their farm where the ostriches are, the ducks intermingled and they, you know, shit everywhere. And basically it came in contact to the ostriches, the virus. Like a handful of ostriches passed, and then they basically have been clearing clean for 120 days since that was back like in January. So it's kind of like this, you know, natural reality where like wild animals are passing through, things are getting exchanged, and these birds contracted whatever bird flu is, but only like a handful of them passed and like 400 of them survived. And like they're all now natural herd immunity. So it's like they have now all the coronavirus antibodies. So that is why Big Pharma does not want these birds alive, because the farm is working with the Japanese. So
Hmm.
Japanese scientists have come in and have been doing all this research and study into the ostrich egg, with all the miraculous healing benefits you can pull from like eczema to acne to like heart issues to like cancer issues to all these coronavirus issues. So, I mean, if you think about it, they're prehistoric. So there's millions of years of genetic information, right? And so they're survivors, they are resilient. And that's their biggest flaw for big pharma, because they're like the answer.
Right, right. Yeah, that's pretty correct.
Really what it boils down to. It's not that there's like some fear. They're not even meat animals. Nobody eats those animals. So, like the
I mean,
Canadian
the eggs,
farm,
right? Some people eat ostrich eggs. I'm not sure. I've
I
never
want to
had
eat
one
ostrich
myself
egg. I'm
personally.
like, I want to get super goddessed out with like incredible immunity. So yeah, I want to smear their yolk all over my face and like bathe in it.
Wow.
Like gold, just like the gold. So yeah, it's a really contentious issue. And today we had a massive victory. It's just, yeah. So
Okay.
today's a good
So
news day.
tell everyone the good news then. So what's the good news in this story? Because for a while it was kind of like it wasn't looking so good. It was
No,
kind
for
of
a
like a
while it was
dire
looking fine.
situation. People were having to gather at the ostrich farm to like stand and protect these birds. They put like a
Yeah.
call out for this on social media, and a lot of people have been responding to it. And so they finally got the, what is it, the CFIA? Is that the, I think I was
Yeah, so the
reading.
Canadian Farm Inspection Agency is the CFIA, which is really ridiculous because they handle meat animals. And this is not a meat bird. So the fact that they were even involved is kind of already a red flag. But today in Nelson, where I live, Nelson, British Columbia, we have what's called the Regional District, RDCK. It's like the group that manages kind of all of the city management, like water, forestry, like they have kind of like their an umbrella for all of the waste management and all the bylaws and blah, blah, blah. So today we had a unanimous victory of 20 directors. We had 400 citizens there. We had a whole bunch of people. I was on the Zoom. I'm like teaching my class because I'm a teacher. I have like my Zoom going all day just to be like in there with the numbers. It was all about numbers today. So, like when you're fighting these beast system things, you have to have power in numbers. So that's what we accomplished. So basically, they have one clear message. Today, all of the directors of the RDCK voted unanimously to basically not accept the call. Also, we have this dump where they actually wanted to dump all the carcasses, 400 animals that are huge, like they're very big birds that weigh a lot. So the dump said they will not receive the birds. And then the RDCK said we cannot take these dead birds until they've been tested and properly proven with public acknowledgement. Like they have to reveal the findings because you know how they shady do things underneath.
Hmm.
So they have to
Yeah.
present the actual proof that these birds should be killed because they're carrying an infection. But the thing is none of them are, and they've been 120 days without it. So today, basically, we made the whole group of people that have been responsible for this, not the CFIA, they're who wants the birds dead. They're paid by Big Pharma. So Big Pharma's like the people at the top, and then they kind of control the CFIA, and then the CFIA kind of control the RDCK. So the RDCK said, no, we need proof. And then the dump said, no, we will never take these birds because if you dump 400 huge birds, you're going to draw bear, you're going to draw cougars,
Mm.
you're going to have rats, you're going to have flies. All these things are going to dig up the animals and then they're going to carry then bad bacteria out. So it's kind of more of a do more harm than good. So
Wow.
yeah, so we're gonna have a huge party there for anybody around who wants to come out to the ostrich farm this weekend. I'm gonna go head out there. We've got native folk, we've got drums, we've got like a whole bunch of people, families, children, and it's like a victory dance today. So yesterday they had huge rainbows over the farm.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal. And then today during ceremony, because every day we're doing ceremony out there, they had eagles all show up and fly all around the farm. So it's like this is like universal ostriches. It's not just Earth. This is like universal. I feel like we're tapping into getting so much Star Nation awareness and support. And then that's been kind of us three ladies, the Trinities. We've been working on this through our grid working sessions with Queen Victoria, clearing Kanata, and then
Yeah, and I
Shakina
really want
Grace.
to hear about that. I just want to give Shekinah Grace and Missy Hill maybe a second to say hi to everyone watching as well and kind of maybe just tune in with their 2 cents with everything that's going on with the ostrich farm. Um, because Missy, she's sitting there, she's like so cute and sweet, and I just like miss her face. I feel like it's been a while since we've even gotten on. I mean, it had like a really good fun live. Hasn't it feel like it's been a little while? Like it's been maybe a couple weeks or a few weeks, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so I just
I'm such an advocate for animals. You know, I love animals so much. Especially, I was revisiting that whole thing of like being an advocate for all creatures, great and small, on Mother's Day. So, yeah, ostriches, these are pre-antediluvian world, as you were saying. And I feel like what they're trying to do is
Mhm.
directly attack the bird tribe and the seraphim lineages, is what it's feeling like to me, you know? And I'm in back in Western North Carolina in Hot Springs, and we've had all kinds of bizarre weather since I've been here, including hail when I first got to Fletcher. So, yeah, it went from hot and a lot of fires to now it's a lot of water again. So it's like lots of extremes.
I
And I
feel you,
love your
girl.
virtual background. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
It's
Yeah, we
so
got the
pretty.
ostriches.
I like
It was the
it.
cutest, prettiest picture I could find because there was a
And then
lot of
my
pictures of little
husband made
ostriches with their little beaks going, and this one looked the nicest. So,
my husband made a joke, but not. He said they're directly attacking Big Bird from Sesame Street.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
caught that. And then it's like people can't be ostriches and have their head in the sand anymore. You know how they always say, don't, your head in the sand like an ostrich. So, yeah, there's something about that too.
Wasn't there a whole thing going on about Sesame Street as well, and that being like funded by, or we're funding it in like another country or something? There was like a whole deal with the Sesame Street thing. Yeah, no, I never even recognized Big Bird wasn't technically an ostrich.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
Well, Shekinah Grace, hey girl, how are you doing? And I mean, I know you were getting a lot coming in with this on a galactic level. You were picking up on Andromeda.
Yeah. For me, I'm glad Shakina Ma went first because she jogged my memory. I couldn't remember when I started really tuning in, but it was her request. She had called me out of the blue and just asked if I would support her request to just kind of tune in and start doing some grid work or some energy healing around it. And for me, I was very led to like the divine feminine codes, the solar feminine Christ, this is an attack on that level as well, because there's so much divine feminine rising energies and lots of like healing around like dismembered body parts, heads being cut off, bones being distributed throughout the planet. Saint Agnes was what stood out to me around Edgewood because there's a church there called Saint Agnes, and she was martyred. So it led me on this like rabbit hole of all the martyred, strong, Christed women who were martyred and killed. Um, and then the necks and their big eyes. I was like, these are ETs, and then I was really feeling it. I noticed that every time there's sort of like an uproar again around these ostriches, there's strong Andromedan frequencies and alignments and codes coming through. Their neck makes me like feel like that's like the portal through the galactic center into Andromeda Galaxy. So that's more on the level that I've been kind of communing and tuning into the birds. Also the matriarch code connections into Egypt and Africa. So it's very much like, almost like if these birds are killed off, it feels like more like reincarnation trap, like cutting off our memory also, like our cellular memory, our ancestral memory to this planet. I feel they're connected to the 12-strand DNA and above, 12D. So those, I would say that's sort of where my focus has been with these birds specifically. But after our last gridwork mission on the full moon, after that call, I got this like full wave, like through my body of Florence Nightingale. And I didn't know really much about her. So I looked her up, and we had done that gridwork mission, and it was her birthday. And then when I looked her up, she was an advocate for health sovereignty. And so then it was like, after that mission was done, I felt like the next phase now is like the health codes. And more of the information is coming through about the partners, like Universal Ostrich Farm partnered with people in Japan. And, you know, just all of the science and all of the revelation about what these ostriches mean actually for human health and our ability to develop and establish both physical and spiritual immunity. Yeah. So, yeah, that's sort of, yeah, I would say. And I'm in Caslow, British Columbia, which is about an hour away from Shikinama in the Kootenays.
Well, let's watch this video that I think both me and Shikana Ma had kind of talked about in the beginning before we came online, but it was kind of explaining, you know, how Big Pharma has their hand in all of this, how the corruption's kind of playing out, and why they don't want us to have access to basically what's in these ostrich eggs.
Can I say one thing before you play it though? Which is that they're also a matrilineal bird. So like the ostrich is all female connected, like there's an alpha female that holds the herd together. And something that Shakina Grace picked up on when we did that awesome session was that Queen Victoria had kind of gone into this gothic like phase after her husband died and had dyed all the ostrich feathers black. And there's been like a death cult vibe ever since in Canada that's been running this country. And so I just wanted to bring up like this white, pure plume and just this release of all that black goo, black juju vibration. I feel like that's a big part of this symbolic metaphor through these ostriches right now over the divine feminine.
It's almost like the black swan, you know, the whole symbology with that.
Like
and I was getting something about the goose with the golden egg.
Yeah, I was getting golden egg codes earlier too. I'm gonna play this video, guys. There may be some cuss words in it, and I think some music. This guy is usually cranking out content on X and TikTok, and he usually has somewhat of an attitude. But I mean, the point that he's making, I think, is what's significant and important to listen to. Just put a 5x5. Let me know that everyone can hear it, okay?
To fuck over the entire world on behalf of Big Pharma, and it involves killing ostriches. This is fucking crazy, but you need to fucking hear this. This is incredibly important. You might have seen the videos about the Canadian government trying to kill all the ostriches on a farm in BC, and I was like, why in the fuck would the government care about 400 ostriches in BC? Why are ostriches in fucking British Columbia in the first place, right? It's not a farm for meat. They are not doing this for meat. They are working with a Japanese scientist because ostrich egg yolks contain antibodies that have absolutely insane health benefits. Like, I had to do something I rarely do. I had to make a list. I went through AI and asked it about the health benefits. Listen to what the antibodies from ostrich eggs can do. Antiviral properties. They fight H1N1, bird flu, MERS, Zika, and Ebola. That's that freaking mosquito-borne virus. So These antibodies can treat skin disorders, dermatitis, acne, and eczema. They have anti-aging skin health effects. It regrows hair. Hair regrowth from these antibodies. Preventative health care, because these antibodies are stable at 100 degrees Celsius. This is unknown in the healthcare world. And this makes it able for oral administration and can survive incredibly hot temperatures, even in like storing shit that has to be refrigerated. These don't even have to be refrigerated. It's all natural, non-toxic, no chemicals. This is just from ostrich eggs. All natural, non-toxic. Fuck big pharma. That's what this is going to do. No antibody resistance. You ever heard like they don't want to give people antibiotics because they're in fear that it will cause resistance to antibiotics? These antibodies from ostrich eggs have none of that. They have none of the effects of antibody resistance. Broad spectrum pathogen killer as a topical cream spread on your hands. The biggest part, cheap as fuck. Cheap as fuck, and the yields are gigantic from a single ostrich egg. And you're talking birds just laying eggs. 400 ostriches, and I'd seen those videos up there in Canada, and I'm like, and I didn't understand it for one bit. And there's the people at the farm, I've seen the videos, and these Canadian health officials that are like, yeah, we got to kill all your birds, and they're not even sick. They have no tests to prove these birds are sick, and they just got a court order through the corrupt Canadian government yesterday to kill all of them. This is a medical research farm. They're working with a Japanese scientist to extract the antibodies. They're trying to build the facility right now to extract the antibodies from these ostrich eggs. And Big Pharma is one. No one will ever convince me that Big Pharma is not behind this, because did you hear that list? Did you hear that list of what ostrich egg antibodies are capable of doing? This is how Big Pharma and these corrupt motherfuckers fuck us over. RFK supposedly knows about this, and he has made a statement. He said he's against the culling of these birds, but like, RFK has no ability to do fuck all up in Canada. This is just one more reason why the corrupt Canadian government needs to be fucking brought under control and brought to heel. Like, whatever Trump's great announcement for Canada is this week, it better be a 51st state, because that government is the fuck out of hand. This doesn't just affect Canada. This is a worldwide effect. Like, I don't know, bring it down to America, but like, Jesus Christ, dude, what is out of the reach of Big Pharma's corruption? I don't think there is anything. Just like what we saw with Trump cutting the drug prices, and then all the fucking rhino fucking Republicans coming out and being like, oh no, I don't think that's something we should do. And it's like, yeah, no shit. I bet you got a fuckload of money off the Big Pharma just to say that shit. We all know how this works. You're all getting paid off, you're bought off to keep fucking us over. And we're fucking done with it. This is where we're going now. We all know the game. We all know what you're doing. And we're not happy about it. Primaries, people. Primaries. We're gonna vote, and if voting don't fucking, you motherfuckers, you corrupt motherfuckers. We gotta save those ostriches up in Canada. That's all I know. I thought it was just some bullshit over fucking birds. No, this is Big Pharma, and dude, they have cancer treatments. They have preliminary fucking research going in right now that these antibodies from ostrich eggs have not only cancer treatment properties, but cancer prevention properties. That right there is the biggest red flag no-no that Big Pharma says you cannot do that shit. They do not want you treating or let alone curing cancer. Good luck to you all. I hope we can stop that corrupt ass government up in Canada from killing those ostriches. That's all. I spread the word, people.
Okay, I think we are all cracking up behind the scenes over here with that video because that guy is actually hilarious.
I love it. He's
Um,
very accurate though, right? It's like the motive is right there. It's like, what was it, 590 million that Moderna will it'll have to go down the drain if they don't get that grant. So that's their motive for staying in the game, right? That's a lot of bucks.
yeah.
But I love it. He just hit the nail on the head.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
Mindy,
really mind-blowing, isn't it?
this
It's
is so correlated to all your health movement right now too. Like you're paralleling sort of this what's happening in the fallout of the old structure of the Rockefeller medicine system. And now we're
yes.
moving back into the natural Gaia-based medicine, the real pharmacopoeia called your organic farm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I
Well, and
just
I
want to
think it
bring,
will I
sorry,
think
go ahead.
yeah, I think it will make us look deeper into the medical establishments that we currently have. Like, I mean, this being such a deep awakening, I think for one, not only I think people collectively are waking up to the need to have to be your own shaman, be your own healer, be your own literally medical doctor and like heal yourself naturally because you're not obviously seeing solutions in that system. But yeah, it is like some mass awakening within this. And I think it's because there was just so much detrimental energy over 2024 and coming into 2025, and people are seeing such a massive tank of their health. And then paired with, uh, the La Cucaracha
Yeah.
virus, basically, paired with now the avian flu. I mean, the
But
health awareness, I
it's so
think, just
ironic though,
continues
isn't
to
it,
ramp
Indy?
up.
It's so ironic though, isn't it? It's like they're still harping on that non-existent pandemic, if you will, right? They're still trying to build on that foundation that's non-existent, you know? It's like, what the hell?
It's still very much prevalent. Like I looked up like most prevalent global crises of our time right now just on like open chat like GPT stuff the other day or chat GPT and it said that COVID from 2019 to remaining is still like what the number one global health crisis and concern across like the world.
Yeah.
And I mean that's just
It's ridiculous. Like I was also watching that meeting today with Shakina Ma. Like we were both on the Zoom, and somebody brought up this question, and she was like, "Oh, I don't know if it was a guy, but somebody brought up a question, and they said, show us the proof of how this is affecting the birds. You know, show us the proof of how these birds are sick and how they are going to infect others by being, you know, in this." Sort of whatever they're claiming that these birds have the infection. And the guy said, no, we don't have the proof. So it's like, then what are you basing your case on, you know? And it's gone all the way up to the federal government. You know, it went up to the federal court, and a federal judge was has issued this. So right from January, they have been building this on nothing, really. There's no evidence to prove their case. And they've just decided, I don't know, based on what. And that's why they were like, show us the proof, you know? And even the family,
yeah.
like they've been requesting for proof and for supporting information on what their decisions are based on. And they haven't got that information from the government.
Yeah, they had like two PCR tests come back, and we all know PCR tests aren't exactly integral.
Yeah,
But that was the only thing, and that was back from like December.
yeah.
So, like, basically, the birds have been clear ever since those likely faulty PCR test results, anyways. And the irony of it all, too, is that the people from the Ushvanya dump, where they plan to bury the birds, they were saying that they got like contracted out to start digging back in like November before anybody ever even heard that they had the ostriches infected. So there's a very sinister behind the scenes Wizard of Oz show going on here. And it's absolutely this is like an illumination of just how deceptive this whole system is and what it will do and the cards that it'll play, like the chess games going on to keep us sick and to keep us in their allopathic way of delivering poison, essentially black magic.
So I got a download the other day from Margaret Jacobson, who's going to be one of the teachers at the health and healing event. And she said, like, I mean, this was her idea. I didn't even think of it. This is so genius. But she said we should do a giant grid work mission just on medical tyranny. Like, really go into the depth of what the hospital systems actually are. I mean, this is all human farming. I mean, big pharma, human farming, like life being born and dying in hospitals without ever giving people actual solutions to diseases. Like that, it's an entirely human farming system. Like, and we're just peeling back the layers and awakening to this more and more. I mean, we should be appalled. We should be so freaking angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we should be just, I mean, really
Oh, have you ever
throwing this
seen,
off the roof and like using the blowhorn or the trumpets or something.
Yeah.
right?
Well, I know somebody that's been advocating for this, and he's like hitting at the truth, and he's got proof. And this is Dr. David Martin. He's been shouting from the rooftops for the last 10 years, I would say. And he's got the dirt on all of these guys, including Dr. Anthony Fauci. You know, he's got like, and he's got the dirt on University of British Columbia as well, because they are directly connected with this whole COVID debacle and how things were prepared from here and sent off to wherever China's, you know, the Wuhan labs and all of that. So there's this whole network of, you know, behind the scenes people that are working on it. And he also has the dirt on the insurance companies that have supported this mission, if you will, with their backing on, you know, moving this whole
Yeah.
thing forward, right?
I really don't get how we can have this whole like Maha movement with RFJ K Jr. and simultaneously see Trump praising, the top guy at Pfizer.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's a great guy, he's a great businessman, da 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 da. You know how he does, like he's very good at schmoozing people and making them feel very like,
Yeah, and
powerful and
if
but
big pharma wasn't bad enough, now it's actually bio nanotech. You know, this is it's even getting worse. It's if it could get any worse, it's getting worse.
Right.
Well,
And now they're
he's a
making all the,
businessman. Sorry, go ahead.
just now
I
they're
was just
making
going to
all the
mention,
vaccines mRNA. So now all these children are getting the
I think we do
mRNA.
have to be somewhat careful. I know we are going into YouTube danger zone right now.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Code words.
Okay.
Code words. Just think code words, shortening words, just specific things. Yeah, I already got a little stressed out when Raquel actually said the COVID word.
Oh, I'm
I don't
sorry.
know. I still have, I think, no, I'm still suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, YouTube PTSD,
Oh,
from really the censorship when all that was going on. It was so bad. We had to be so careful. So
right,
I
right.
feel like we're kind of coming out of that era just a little bit, but not entirely. I think we still have to be careful with the
Yeah.
medical realm a little bit. Yeah. But just so you guys know.
Okay.
Well, do you
Yeah.
guys know that the Rockefeller Foundation is what's behind the allopathic medicine? So, like, their petrochemicals was like, what do we do with these things? And then that's when they took over basically our natural. I mean, sure, it's been happening since Tartaria and the reset, and then they took out all the midwives and natural healers during the Inquisition. But then they changed us into this petrochemical, which is big pharma through the Rockefellers. And then they made it so that they controlled our education system. And so the medical education system is all a Rockefeller education model set up by
Well, it's all
various dark
interwoven.
lords.
It's all
You know,
interwoven, Shakina Ma, because when you dig into it, it's like they started the Reserve Bank as well through that whole meeting. They had this meeting on Jekyll Island, and I think Missy knows about this one too. This
Jekyll
gang of, I
Island.
don't know, 12, 11 or 12 people, and the Rockefellers were there, and all of these rich families got together and they had this very shady meeting and they decided to form this cabal, if you will, right? And they just spread themselves out into the entire world, and they each took like a a division of society and how they would represent society and bring their own agenda, if you will. And the education system, the health system, all of it was taken over by these families, and they went out and spread like a virus, and that's how all of these things have become so ingrained in society now. We just can't, find the root of it, if you will, and how to, completely eradicate it from our society, because it's so deeply rooted in every way, every form, really.
It's
it's
like
So
our
it's
yeah.
food, our water, air,
Yeah.
everything.
And I
The
mean,
music.
it's really just all if you fo follow the money trail. I mean, you can see it being exemplified that like money is the symbol and status of power. I mean, I mean, that's just coming to me with all the bribery we're seeing with Trump with the Middle East right now and all the, the show that they're putting on for the Saudis and the Qatars and all of those things. I mean, everybody has a price and everybody can be sold no matter, if you're doing the most amazing or the most horrible thing for humanity. And I mean, it's just there's something with getting to the root of power and getting to the depth of the root chakra of humanity, I think, to really heal it. But I mean, is this something that can be healed? I mean, this require massive internal transformation of all of our systems and all of the fiat and all of the currency.
I
Well,
feel
it's all
like
your forever chemicals too in the water in Florida. And I mean, like when you think about all that they spray in our air, and then that all goes down into our watersheds. So it's diabolical. There's, everything's so infected at this point. So it's like up to divine intervention and also possible stellar star nation forces who have higher technologies than we do.
Yeah,
I was
definitely.
gonna say, Rockefeller's also changed the music from 432 hertz to 440 on the radio. That's why we
Right.
listen to
Well, and
things.
all these artists are Satanist. I mean, you have Lady Gaga literally conducting her abracadabra spell on the whole collective. I mean, it's just voodoo and black magic right before our eyes all the time. I mean, there is no hiding it. It's very obvious what they're doing. I mean, I know she has like, dinners where she's eaten like actual people off of a table with that Satanist lady in from France that looks like
Marina Barakovich and the
Barakovich.
Spirit Cooking
Yes.
Kitchen. That stuff is freaky. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
the
Wow,
ostrich.
we're going down a wormhole tonight with this whole this is the container, the ostrich container.
I think
Well, if
Shakina
you've
Grace
ever
was
seen,
trying to say something. Shakina Grace?
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say we started talking about like the money, and the ostriches are symbolic of humanity reclaiming prosperity codes as well, because health is wealth, and so it's an inverse, right? They want us to stay sick, like it's like the opposite, because that keeps the elite few wealthy. So do you see how it like how that feels? It's like they don't want us to be healthy, and then we stay in poverty consciousness, or we stay with this in this slave enslavement system. But the ostriches, if they win, if we can save them, if they can stay with us here, it's a win for humanity's reclamation of prosperity and sovereignty, like that king and queen sovereign, true sovereign codes, because health is wealth. And so that's part of it. It's like not just our like an attack on health sovereignty, but also our wealth. Um, so I just wanted to mention that as well, that there's major prosperity codes that these birds carry. And symbolically, it'll ripple out. I think even energetically, it ripples out for us to feel that victory as well. Yeah, I just wanted to share that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were bringing in some really like really aligned codes on May the 12th when we had our full moon ceremony. We were also directly aligned with the galactic sun on that day. Plus, it was a day after Mother's Day. So we had all this divine feminine energy and the Christos energy coming in quite powerfully. And what we were getting was that Heroes Gamos clearing. And as Shekinah Ma and Shekinah Grace talked about, the Queen Victoria cleansing took place, and that directly aligned with all this energy that was coming in about the ostriches and what they represent in terms of the matriarchy. And so we had all of this divine feminine energies that were like just building and building and building and cleansing. And for me personally, it was like this, if you can imagine the insides of a clock or a timepiece, it was like all of these gadgets were like fixing themselves and like clicking back into alignment, not just within our reality, but it was going back many, many lifetimes and many centuries. So it was like a huge, like a 0 point field that we were tapping into, and it was like correcting all those codes and all those energies. And so we were like energetically shifting all of this and bringing it into alignment. And we were like pulling all kinds of things. Like we worked with the Golden Eagle grid, we worked with the Phoenix grid, we corrected all of those energies as they were coming into our field. And it was like, it just felt like we were, being hit with all of these things at the same time. But it was so ironic to be in that energy because that represented the moon that we were within, the moon energies that we were within, which was like the energy of the eagle, the scorpion, the phoenix, and it was like all of these things were just coming in alignment and clearing the field as we worked through that grid mission. And, we felt that purification as it was happening. And like Shekinah Grace very strongly brought in that energy of Queen Victoria, which was like, going back to the early 1900s and, clearing all of that energy between the hero scammers and that pure energy. And like Shekinah Grace brought in, she was like struggling with her own heart. She was heartbroken, but she was also aligned with the best interest, if you will, of what Canada should be all about and that pure energy. But she was like, in a way, all this black magic was brought into her energy and she was like pushed aside, if you will. And all this black magic was, in a way, shielded, like she was shielded in a way from all of the true energy that she wanted to bring, or her ideals, if you will, of what she wanted Canada to look like. And so that was really strongly coming through. Go ahead, Shekinah Grace.
Well, I just wanted to clarify that, like, another thing that these ostriches I feel are bringing forward is the fact that the federal court and the federal government are null, void. It's a phantom. It's a phantom reality. Like this whole thing is an illusion, because since Queen Victoria's death, the monarchy has actually had no authority over the lands of Canada or Turtle Island. Everything since 1901. So Canada was born, and then Victoria died in 1901, so it was about 34 years. But there was something passed where the monarchy relinquished any influence or any authority over Canada upon her death. And somehow that went over the heads, or of the people of Canada, or it was somehow kept. It wasn't really publicized. So every governor general, every federal whatever, everything has been utterly, totally, completely illegitimate. And so the fact that this, there's these documents that are coming out about the federal court and this whole thing with the ostriches, and I keep reminding people just to keep seeding that. It's like, this is a phantom reality. It purely exists by our belief only, but there's no actual anchor in the truth, and there's no actual anchor in facts. So, I think the ostriches are facilitating like a major awakening and a lifting of the dark spell, the smoke and mirrors, the illusion, and also like deep grief. There's so much grief because of the confusion of the people. And it's just, and this has to do with Queen Victoria as well, because the last years of her life, she got taken into the underworld. I think she got hijacked by the Orion war factions, and potentially she got really into seances and using the Ouija board, and she wanted to connect with her husband Albert, and everything was black. We know that the very Victorian area had all this like black clothing and black dyed ostrich feathers to, it became the fashion.
Is that Victoria 1 or Victoria 2?
One.
One, the first one. Okay.
Yeah, so she was a key. And I felt like she was guiding. She was really guiding. It was like her final wish was for Canada to be God, sovereign, and free. Like that came in very strongly, even though she had heavy Lilith, heavy Pluto, 12th house stellium, but there was so many codes there that she was also starting a new cycle, that she was ending something, clearing the karma of the monarchy, and starting, initiating something new that got smoke and mirrored. That's my 2 cents. Yeah.
Well, in that documentary too, right? That proves your point, doesn't it, Shakina Grace? Canada, the illusion. Like we went through that on one show as well, Indy. Where all of that was documented, and Canada doesn't really belong to who it belongs to right now, or who they're claiming to be, right? Yeah.
So I'm wondering if you ladies heard anything about this. I got an email this morning that let me know that there would be potential disruptions in any postal service to and from Canada, that the whole Canada Post Office and Canada Union of Postal Workers are working on negotiations until May 22nd if they don't reach an agreement that they're going to be on a strike.
Yeah, this happened over Christmas, like basically during our entire Christmas holiday season when everybody's sending mail, they shut down because the people go on strike like all the time. And you could say it's, like working conditions or money related, but actually, if you know anything about the free man, straw man story, a lot is around the actual post. So there's something connected, in my opinion, to the post office and the free man and how the maritime law works. So to me, it cues that there's actually something deeper going on here.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the title of the video was Canada in Chaos. I mean, I know that I think what Mark Carney just recently visited Trump, was that like May 6th or something like that? And that was like a very interesting positioning. And was it just me, or did it seem like Mark Carney almost felt like somewhat intimidated by Trump?
I think everybody feels intimidated with Trump. They
Yeah.
kind of just like deflate, their giant egos just kind of deflate, but they're all also like in a boys club because there's a lot of already connected business partnering ship going on. Like I know Elon Musk has business partnering with Mark Carney. Certainly Mark Carney is well connected to the king of England. So there's like they're all very connected, like a bunch of worms just
Yeah.
all in a cluster.
How are you guys, being from Canada, how are you still feeling about Mark Carney, or what do you think about the Polyvier,
Pierre
how do you say his
Holiday.
name?
Yeah.
I mean, what's kind of the status on all that stuff? Do you guys know?
Carnage is nobody likes him. I mean, Mark Carney is diabolical. And if you know anything and your head's not buried in the sand, you would know that he's a very shady, shady, shady individual. Whereas Pierre Polivet is kind of more of like a Trump. That's why people don't like him because they associate him to be kind of like on that conservative, patriotic level, to be a threat to this weird illusion, brainwashed mind control trip everybody's spellcasted under. So it's almost like they program through like CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting, we call it the Communist Broadcasting Corporation, where they like put everybody in some crazy mind hive spell where everybody's like orange man bad. And it's just like this total ridiculousness because when you actually follow a bit more down, they're like, what is the problem here? Like Canada's been sucking like a juice box straw off of the United States for like ever.
So
So
worse than Trudeau, even, huh? Worse than Trudeau. Couldn't
oh,
get any
he's worse.
Oh,
He was the
yeah, for
guy,
sure.
actually. Carnage was the one who told Trudeau to put us in emergency during the truck convoy. He took everybody down. They put their basic goons after all the peace-loving freedom fighters, and then they froze the bank accounts of these people. That's all Carney. That was all
Yeah,
Carney.
yeah,
Yeah, so he's
absolutely.
a bad boy. He's a very bad, bad boy.
Mm.
Well, and to me, it's like a very stark reality of what's going on, right? If you just take, for example, this case that's happening now with the ostriches, and if you sort of parallel that with the corruption that Trudeau has done in his, 10 years, 9 or 10 years, or however long he served, it's like that guy should be serving, I don't know, 100 lifetimes in jail for all the corruption and all the wrongdoing that he's done. But none of it has come into the limelight. None of it has ever been, proven in court. Like I personally invested a lot of my time when this whole Arrive Can scandal was happening. I would tune into all the parliamentary debates and all of the stuff that was going on. You know, they brought the highest person in the RCMP to come and give his testimony about what's going on, and that guy didn't even it didn't he didn't even scratch the surface of what was happening, you know. So they're all in it. They're all in it, and they just couldn't put this guy away on any of those charges. And he was like, you could see it, you know, if you just came in as a layperson and listened to those conversations, you could see that, you know, who was right and who was wrong. And they just
Mhm.
couldn't stick anything on him. And now he's out the door, and all of that is just wiped clean. And they've ushered in this new guy, and he's like even worse than him, you know. Like he's just biding his time right now, Indy. And you know, it's I don't see it too long before his true colors will show up. He's just waiting to sort of gather his ducks, if you will, you know, to just truly show his colors. So yeah, it's very disappointing. You know, we thought, you know, perhaps there could be a change, but I have a feeling that Alberta will eventually break away and join the US because that's like really picking up speed right now. And she's like, she's not having it. Like she's given her ultimatum to the federal government and said, these are my terms, and you know, you've got X number of days to come up with your you know, your response or else. So we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I'm excited to kind of stay tuned with that and kind of see what's going to play out. What are you predicting you think is going to happen?
Well, I think Alberta has a lot of, and even people in, I would say, British Columbia and to a large extent, even Saskatchewan, I think, are supporting um, Alberta and, you know, how they are going. Like if Alberta falls, I think that whole western part of Canada will fall as well. I shouldn't say fall, but, you know, align with the US.
Yeah.
But
You know, it definitely left a really uncomfortable moment with Carney with or Carnage, should I say, the corpses with Trump when what Chicana says. Uh because he was like, "Oh, Canada will never become a 51st state." And then you see Trump, he just like smirks.
yeah,
Like it's just like he's just like
he knows
taunting
something.
and baiting and
Yeah.
I mean, really putting them in a hard situation with the tariffs just to kind of lead leverage for what he wants to have happen. It's just a really, it's kind of manipulative. It's like having to play nice with, you know, people that are just lowballing you on some
Hmm.
level.
And you know
Yeah,
what?
Canada's broke, okay? Like Canada, our economy is so fudgesicled that we're basically kind of doomed over here. Our healthcare system's imploding. That's why everybody's like, oh, Canada's so great. You have a healthcare system. It's imploding. I think we're actually now hiring Americans to come be our health workers. That's where we're at. So, I mean, at this point, we're kind of either like China or America. Do we want China or America to take us over? China already kind of has taken us over. But at this point, I don't think Trump wants China to be next door neighbors, you know?
Mm-mm.
So, yeah, it's kind of like that.
Trump wants to take Alcatraz back. I wonder who he wants to put there.
That's going to be a large jail cell. And I would say Bill Gates has got a nice black hole at that place. I
Oh,
hope.
Oh, we've got
well,
some really truly some really classic human beings, hey, that are ruling us.
well, just looking at the comments with everyone tuning in. So, just going up to Jim Montgomery, he says JD Vance is eyeballs deep in the biotech. He says, fix the money, fix the problem. Joe Organ Bubble says an ostrich egg weighs 24 chicken eggs. You know, I was
Wow.
thinking about that and I'm like, is the ostrich egg the largest bird egg on the planet technically then?
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Wow.
significant.
Big Bird. Mhm.
Let's see. Nunu says, save the ostrich, hug an ostrich today. He says, a very naughty boy, I think probably agreeing with us there with Carnage. And Albertans are the best. Heart, heart, heart.
Well, there's
Yeah,
a big
guys.
party happening in Edgewood, you folks. So anybody wants to party on this weekend, it's like the second, or I should say, Trucker Convoy Part 2 is taking place out there. All these
Mm.
folks are gathering, and it's just yeah, it's amazing to see that.
Yeah. Well, I'm so happy we got good news today then that it sounds like, they're not going to be 400 birds aren't going to be cold. Basically, there's going to be a deeper evaluation process that makes sense and is somewhat responsible for the lives of the ostriches. And so, I mean, that's really good news to hear. I
Mm.
think everyone was kind of in like a panic state there for a little bit.
Hmm. Well, the
So,
court
yeah,
order
it's
still
relieving.
stands, though, right? We still have to overturn that court order. So hopefully, there's something that can, you know, come forward that can overturn that.
Yeah. Well, I'll be praying for Canada and the ostriches. I know I will. Um, does anyone have any last messages for everyone? Anything that we didn't cover with the birds that
Well, I
we
just
want to?
wanted to bring up what Missy said, and I think perhaps one of the Shekinas said something about the head in the head in the sand, right? We refer to the ostrich as the head in the sand. Um, I just found out today it's not that they're hiding or that they're scared. They're actually putting their head in the sand to pick up little pebbles that help them in their digestion. And so
Right.
that's why they bury their head in the sand. It's not from fear or, afraid of looking at anybody or anything. So there is a reason for that. But, of course, human beings have taken that and created something for their own benefit out of it.
That makes me think of I think we're under, I don't know which system because I go back and forth between them all, but galactic astrology maybe. We're in a Virgo moon. But it makes me think of the digestive system, the support that they could potentially, support humanity with digestive system issues.
Okay. Yeah, solar plexus clearing here. Solar plexus and crown chakra, maybe. I was kind of getting.
Yeah, and
Well,
then just the long necks too,
yeah.
yeah, the voice of
I
the
think
American.
people are becoming more aware of these things after what happened with Peanut the squirrel in New York, too. He was killed unlawfully, you know.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. I'm just thinking of Jupiter ascending when the woman's like on the table and then the doctors turn into like grays. And you're like,
Oh,
who the hell are these people really, anyways? And, is it human? Like, are these actually even human behind these lab suits and kill orders? And honestly, I just like would love to see you, Indy, on like Dan Winter, like showdown on the whole Orion Wars, because I think what most people don't really get is what the root cause, the causal of all of this effect. And I honestly 100% do not believe at all that this is humane, because it's not even human. Like, it's inhumane. Like, all this is inhumane. And so, as a rescue mama of like 5 rescue animals, I'm like, in what world is this human and does this, right? So, I really would love to get more people aware of what actually did take place and how we actually did get here and what is operating behind the Wizard of Oz curtain, because that's a big revelation.
Yeah.
And we're in the time of revelations.
Yeah, we definitely need like some humanitarian education of galactic history and
Mhm.
just like our microscopic history, really truly getting to the quantum level of everything, more explanation for um our past, where we came from. I mean, more clarity. Humanity just needs more clarity. I mean, there's just so much left to the mystery box, honestly, going back to like ancient Neanderthal and ancient ape and like all these like theories and speculation about how we got to where we are and the root races and the
Mhm.
Lyran Wars. I mean, I feel like it's all explaining a piece, but um, I hope that one day something comes forward that just reveals all the Akashic mysteries.
Yeah.
That would be so amazing. I feel like that would be so healing. That's what needs to come through the solar flash event you
Yeah.
know, the 3 days of light, just instant knowledge. I mean, that's what the new Earth timelines is truly supposed to be about with the coming of the cathedrals of learning, is that we will be granted access to things like that. And that will help shape the destiny of, you know, humankind for this higher consciousness level where we're sustaining things organically and just not having all these nasty detrimental reversal codes running in the creation core of the planet. I mean, gosh, yeah, we've done so many clearings on that. Man, we've worked relentlessly. But you know, everything is happening in divine timing, so we have to trust in that as well. But
Mm.
yeah, I just want to say thank you, ladies, so much for coming on. This is such an amazing topic. I think Nunu said, yeah, I appreciate that you guys covered this. Yeah, so share this video out, you guys. Spread this awareness if you're watching right now. I think, you know, it is something that I think has been kind of on the hush hush, but it's been starting to like make its way around. So I'm really happy that this story is getting out. If you guys can help us by sharing and putting a like on this video, we'd appreciate it so much. And thank you all for tuning in with us tonight. Thank you and have a beautiful everything.
Mhm.